All right. Hello, everybody. Glad to have you back for episode number 6 of Beyond the Field podcast. Um, Excited to have on right-handed pitcher from Boston College, Sean Hard. He should be joining in a few minutes. Um, Sean played high school baseball with Nico, and so Nico's going to have a little bit more of a friendship with Sean. But I've looked up some of his stats and drafted in the 20th round out of high school, and this looks pretty impressive. He started 9 games as a freshman at an ACC school, 0-5 record, so obviously not what he wanted. But starting 9 games and as a freshman, obviously the coaches have a lot of trust in you, and named North Jersey Player of the Year, North Jersey Perfect Game NJ Player of the Year in 2021. So a bunch of accolades for Sean. Drafted in the 20th round by the New York Yankees. So Nico, what's some any info for the listeners you can tell everyone about Sean?
No, I mean you kind of listed a lot of it. I mean, Sean's a great kid. He's like such like a mild-mannered person. And I respect Sean a lot. We both had Sean was definitely like the superstar caliber player in high school. Myself, I wasn't, in that category, but I was a little bit older than Sean. So I think when he was like a freshman, he would, always not like rely on me for things, but I definitely tried to give him like any sort of guidance I can. And I always loved Sean because he was a great kid and I was happy to help him out with everything. He's already accomplished more than I have in baseball, and I truly believe he's gonna have a long career in pro baseball at some point.
It's not always,
You know,
how good you are on the field. Being that upperclassman to him, I'm sure he really appreciated. And
yeah,
um,
no,
every
no, yeah, I was just gonna say it's like just like the kind of person he is, that's also why like I wanted him, a part of Elevate. Like I just like, to work with high quality, humans, like, and he's definitely
yeah.
in that category.
Yeah, so Sean recently did join Elevate. He is one of our athletes here, and we love following along with him. So this podcast will be released on beyondthefield.pod on Instagram, TikTok. Follow to see some reels posted throughout each week. That's how we've been doing it. The page has been growing pretty organically, Nico. I really like, how people, I can see the types of people who are following us, and baseball heads just trying to create this like little niche podcast for people to listen to and gain some more knowledge on the ins and outs of college baseball and how to make it to the pros. And everyone's story is so different. It's when I talk to people about the podcast that we've been running, it's like they're like, wow, that's really cool that you get to just talk to college and professional athletes all the time and hear their stories of how they've gotten to where they are. So
Yeah.
um,
No, the
make sure
pod's doing
everyone's
good.
following. Yeah, follow Elevate Sports Media, Elevate Media Sports on Instagram. Um, Hopefully, we'll get a website up and running again sometime soon. It was an expense that we didn't really need to have in our budget right now. So, um, continuing growing as we're still finishing up our college degrees. But I mean, I'm gonna ask Sean. I mean, if I was ever drafted by the New York Yankees, having even if I had a full ride to Boston College, it would be hard for me to say no after seeing my name pop up on the board and knowing that
Oh,
I could be a
dude.
New York Yankee. So
Yeah.
obviously a very mature choice out of him to go to college and get a degree and
Yeah.
get this
Well, look,
opportunity to play.
I'll give you even, a little more insight because, knowing Sean, it makes sense. He was pretty much deciding between Stanford and Boston College for schools. Now, in my mind, someone who had one D3 offer coming out of high school, I'm like Stanford, Ivy League in California, like great baseball. Like, are you kidding me? Like, weather is unbelievable. And I remember I was talking to him and I said exactly that. I'm like, dude, you got some balls for turning down Stanford. I'm like, that is, I was like, how come? I'm like, what was like the difference maker? And he's like, the success rate for kids when they travel across the country is like very little. It like it's
Wow,
very hard. It's very hard for them to like adjust to that and be like consistent in the program. I was like, wow, dude, like then no one could tell you otherwise. Like that makes sense.
that's a great. I mean, even just looking into that before committing to a school when you're 17, 18 years old, like we were talking about on our last podcast with Danny Soretti. He committed to St. John's when he was like 15 or 16 years old. How is a 15 or 16-year-old supposed to know where they want to spend 4 years of their life in college? And the fact that Sean, looked into the stats about traveling across the country, I don't think I would have been ready to do that at the age of 18 either. So commend him for that.
100%.
I see he's sending us an email right now. Oh, he's joining in soon.
No, he's having here. You got it.
Oh, Mark has so our other co-host Mark isn't on tonight, but he is the one who has the scratch off ticket. So we might need him to join in and do the scratch off for Sean.
Oh, it might be a little risky.
I know. He's dealing with some personal issues and he's going to be okay, but it's not something people want to deal with. So right. I was texting with the Yankees player that we're supposed to be getting on the pod soon. It's a little difficult to communicate with him sometimes. He doesn't answer me right away, but I assume it's because
he's still interested.
Yeah, he answered me the other day and he's still very interested. So
that's
Sean. What's up, Sean? Just to let you know, we're recording already. Nice to have you on.
No worries. Appreciate it.
Glad we can get this going. So for all the listeners out there, Sean Hard. We were supposed to do this interview last week, and Nico decided to jump ship and not show up.
He said, fuck it, I don't want to do it.
Nico's a grinder, and he forgot he had some schoolwork too. But thanks for hopping on with us today, Sean. You guys just played a game today?
Me. Yeah, we just played Northeastern.
How'd that go? I didn't get a chance to look.
Not great. Took a loss, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, losses happen. It's baseball. How has the season been going so far for you guys?
It's going awesome. We're 14-4 now. We're off to the best start in our program's history, which is sick. I think we were ranked 16 this week, which is pretty awesome to be part of.
Ranked 16 in the country. Wow. Who are some of the other schools around that ranking so listeners can tell, the type of caliber that you guys are at right now?
I think like Texas Tech, South Carolina. I think Tennessee dropped down by us.
I know you guys just went to Tennessee and beat them up pretty good, right?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Probably the craziest game I've ever been a part of.
Isn't that field crazy? I played there last year, and it's just a crazy stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick.
Sean, how's Leipzig doing at Tech? He's been pitching a lot, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's doing well. Awesome to see.
That's great. Yeah, I was talking to Ryan Miles over the winter. He was telling me he was having some problems with getting hurt or whatever. But I mean, I hope that.
Yeah, I know he had a little something with his back and a while ago, but seems like he's back now, doing well, which is good.
Yeah, dude, I got to know, what was it like going from St. Joe's to Boston College in terms of the educational aspect? Have you been hammered with homework, or is this
before you answer this question, for the listeners, St. Joe's Regional was not known for their education. They were known for their athletics. So these two
straight academics.
These two.
I'm not gonna endorse that as an alumni. So I'm just this is for someone else
from an outsider's view. From what I've heard, now you can answer the question.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely tough. I feel like it's tough if you come from any school, really, but it's not. It hasn't been impossible. I've been getting through it fine. Doing well. So it was definitely a tough adjustment, just with especially just going to college in general, new environment. It's definitely tough, but been able to handle it fine. And
so you're younger. You're younger than us, so you can kind of give the younger perspective. This is a sophomore year of school now, right? Second year of college.
Yeah.
And you, this is, a big change going to live in Boston from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And what have you liked about being on your own, living on your own, and playing baseball at the same time? What have you liked, and what are some things that maybe you've struggled with a little bit?
It's definitely cool to live on my own now. Things with learning to cook and stuff like that. Just little things like that are pretty cool, but it also comes with all the not so fun stuff,
like doing your own laundry.
Doing my own laundry, doing dishes, cleaning.
Yeah. Are you off campus? Are you on campus?
Yeah, I'm off campus this year.
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
How many? What's your living situation like? Who else do you live with? And
I live with two other guys, and they're both sophomores: Julian Tangini and Nick Wang. Nick Wang's our third baseman, and Julian's another pitcher. So, two great guys to live with. So it makes it a little easier.
So something that just pops into my head talking about living with other guys on the team. I've done it my whole life. At Iona, I lived in a house with 9 other guys. So it was 10 guys, all on the baseball team, always with each
Jeez,
other.
dude, that's
We
a
grew
lot.
pretty close, and it was a really cool bond that like I really, would recommend to anyone living with a bunch of other guys. It was a lot of fun. Now I live with just my roommate Jack Brodsky, who's also a pitcher. Something that's interesting to me, I'm curious on your two point of views. Like you're creating relationships and friendships with these guys. And that's, in my head kind of first, like I want long lasting lifetime friendships with these people. But also you're competing with them on the field if you're the same position or for playing time. So what has it been like, Sean, for you as an underclassman getting a lot of innings? Do you feel welcomed on the team? Do you feel like, a lot of upperclassmen are putting their arms around you and trying to help groom you? Like, what do you see any sort of that in the locker room, or feel like any
Yeah,
sort
for
of tension
sure.
there?
Yeah, I mean, well, not tension, but like everyone, like last year as a freshman, I pitched a good amount, and I had a lot of struggles, my fair share of struggles for sure. And it just makes it a lot easier to get through that kind of stuff when you have guys supporting you and kind of helping you work through things. So having that support system I feel like goes a long way.
Yeah,
You know,
and like,
I told my team this year, we had like in our first team meeting, I told them that like in my experience playing college baseball and being a part of a team, that the three things that truly matter, especially at like the level of baseball that we play, it's a little bit different, Sean, at your level, since BC will produce like some very high quality prospects. But I was saying that there are three things that really matter when you're playing college baseball right now, and it pretty much it in general for college athletes, and it's your relationships with other people and how you can grow those relationships, whether you leave the program in a better place when you leave than when you came in, and if you won something. Because you could be a starter all 4 years at a school, but you could your team could suck and you don't really have like much to show for it besides like some stats that no one's really going to care about when you're working a job in like 3 or 4 years. And like Sean, obviously it's different in your position where stats could determine whether you continue your career in baseball or not, at a program like that. But I mean, Paul, I'm sure you can attest that being at program like Iona. I'm not trying to shit on
yeah.
Iona, but
No, you can shit all
it's
you want.
kind
I
of
think I had 20 wins in my 4 years there. So that's
yeah.
exactly what you were saying is we were way more into building the relationships and, trying to make sure that we had a 4-year bond together where,
You have to, or
we're
else
gonna
it's not
we're
going to be
gonna
as
have to
Yeah.
have, yeah, like we're never gonna have fun if
yeah,
every time we lose, we're all gonna go in our rooms and not talk to each other.
Right.
yeah,
I feel like
seriously.
that's something that's so overlooked, like from the outside too, with people outside looking in. Like we're around each other basically 24/7. So like you get to know these guys really well, and everyone wants to win. So like it goes such a long way with everyone pulling for each other. Like even if there's competitions at the certain positions or whatever, at the end of the day when the game starts, like we all want each other to do as best as possible because we all want to win. And I feel like building those relationships is really important for that.
Yeah, you shouldn't want to be on a team if the end goal isn't, let's go win a national championship together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's definitely a possibility for you guys. So we'll definitely be watching and
Yeah,
hope
hopefully.
that, yeah, like hope we can stay on this good track. So going back to high school a little bit, Nico was telling me a little bit about your story of recruitment before you came on, but can you tell the listeners, what other schools were you looking at when you were getting recruited? Like how old were you when you realized you wanted to play college baseball, and what did the recruitment process look like for you coming out of St. Joe's?
Yeah, I mean, my recruitment process started, I want to say like going into my junior year. I got TJ after my freshman year of high school. So that put me
That's
out for the
early.
year.
That's
Yeah,
early.
very. It's just my sophomore year. I just hit, and I knew like at the next level I was probably going to be a pitcher. So going into my junior year, that summer is really when recruiting started. I talked to a couple of Northeast schools, a couple of other ACC schools, but nothing too crazy. And I just kind of felt that fit at BC right away. Like I came on campus for a camp after talking to the coaches, and I fell in love with it. So I kind of knew right then and there that this was a place I wanted to be. I'm really happy I made that choice.
Yeah. And when did you see your fastball? Like, so Tommy John at freshman year, that's pretty crazy. Did you see, after recovery, is that where you started to see velo jumps? Is that where you started to see your performances on the field really starting to go up?
Big time. Yeah. I mean, like whenever I talk to guys who had it, since I had it so early, like I can kind of help guys through that process, which I take a lot of pride in. Like I've always said, I think it's the best thing that's happened to me. It really gave me that whole year to just focus on my body. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Elbrus, one of our other Elevate athletes, Danny Rachansky, started
Danny.
up a little elbow,
cold
for us.
I got
Sean's
my
got some merch of them. Yeah, he's got some merch of them.
Nice. No, I don't think I ever got any merch, but
you gotta hit him up.
I definitely agree that like surgery wasn't the worst thing ever.
For sure.
Tell me a little bit about your recovery process.
Yeah, so my recovery process was I had the UCL repair, so it was kind of like a modified version. I had my ligament was only partially torn, and the ligament like separated from the bone, I think it was. I still don't fully understand what exactly it was, but
I mean, we're not the doctors, so we don't
exactly. Yeah, but my recovery was pretty much the same as the Tommy John recovery, maybe like a month or two shorter. But coming back from that, like obviously it sucks in the moment, the build up and the 9-10 months of not being able to play, not being able to pitch. But coming back, you feel fresh as ever. You got a brand new elbow pretty much. And then like on top of that, it's a whole year of being able to get your body right, being able to tune up mechanical things when you're at low intent, because that's really all you can do. So coming back, and you're so pumped to come back, so that just motivates you even more to work harder. And when I came back originally, the velo jump, it definitely took a little bit to get there, but it certainly happened. I came back, I was probably like 80, 82 right before I got it, which was pretty good at the time.
I mean, freshman year of high school, definitely. That's still pretty hard.
Yeah, it was pretty hard, but like nothing crazy. But then I came back, I was building back to like 86, 87. That's what I was at when I committed, like 86, 87, my junior year, my sophomore going into junior year. And then COVID that year, which was pretty much just another year to do the same thing, focus on my body and everything. And that's where I saw the big jump into the 90s. And that really helped me kind of boost myself as a player and kind of take the next steps.
So did COVID happen your senior year of high school?
It was my junior year.
Junior year of high school.
What was that? What was that like, Sean? Like that? Like, what did you guys do during that? I mean, I know everyone was kind of like home, but like, what was like the conversations going on amongst like the guys at Joe's? Because I mean, like, McDermott's class was they were seniors that year. I mean, they were a great group of guys, and my senior year, we lost in the county championship, but like I was like we were like, damn, like these guys are gonna be like really fucking good next year, because like we had a lot of guys returning, and your grade was only sophomores, and a lot of guys had a big impact on the team that I was on. Like that, like what were those conversations like? Because that you guys had some pretty high expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sucked getting the season canceled. So because we were pretty ecstatic about the year, we thought we had a really good group. We had our class, we were juniors. Everyone really had a good amount of experience at that point. And then we had like McDermott's class. We had all those guys that were coming up on their senior year, and they were ready to go. So, we were definitely bummed. And then they had that last dance tournament in the summer, which we didn't do, which was kind of frustrating. I mean, I think a lot of guys want to do it, but we didn't end up doing it. So that was just kind of a bummer not being able to play that season out. And, you've really got to feel for the seniors that year, especially after coming off the big loss the year before. I think we lost to Pascack Hills that year.
I think when my Pascack Hills team beat you guys, not to bring it up again, but we won the county tournament in 2018. So 2019, I graduated 2018. So I think when you guys played Ramsey and Mark, who was supposed to be on tonight, you guys beat them, I think, in the county semifinals or something. Didn't
that's right.
Who was the kid that
we won?
Duke?
Jimmy pitched. Jimmy Romano.
Yeah, Jimmy pitched. Nico, you had to go ahead single that game, right?
Yeah, Ramsey. That was a good game.
Come on, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So
a big game.
We beat you
That was
guys
sick game.
in the county tournament. That was 2018
Yeah.
in the semifinals. Jay Hen,
Yeah, you
Justin
had 2
Henry Malloy
bombs.
had 2 bombs off Ryan
We had
Ramsey
6.
and off
We
Chris
it was
Curcio.
the game was 10-6, I think, and Jay
Yeah,
had
he had
all
all
6
6.
RBIs
Jay
with
Hen
2
had
homers.
all 6 RBIs. There was bases loaded, and we had a mound visit as Jay Hen was coming to the plate, and Chris Curcio was pitching at this time. And I remember getting to the mound. I was playing first base, and Curcio.
You playing first that game?
Yeah, I was a first team all county.
Yeah, I feel like I remember you as
year.
first baseman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my senior year,
respect. I didn't know.
we had Ryan Ramsey, Jack Brodsky, Brandon Siegenthaler all make it for pitchers, right?
Yeah,
in the
that's a good
counties.
group.
So I think I was like still 6-0 or 7-0 as a pitcher with a 1.5 ERA. But then I also was hitting in the 2-hole all year and playing first base whenever I wasn't pitching. So I think I batted 350, with like a 400 on base percentage. So I ended up making
slight flex. It's all right. Slight. It's saying so nonchalant.
Some light.
Iona actually let me 2-way for the fall of my freshman year, and then I kind of went up to him at the end of the fall, and I was like, that was a lot of throwing on my arm. Like that was like kind of like a little too much. And they're like, hey, we were gonna have a meeting with you. Like your career's on the mound, and let's try to focus in on that, and let the 2-way business go aside. But I was, I always say I think I could still play a pretty decent first base, but not at this high of a level anymore.
Dude, ask your coach at Tampa if you guys are like shitting on some teams, like throw you in that bat, or you give you some reps at first. Yeah.
Yeah. So he actually said something really interesting. Quick little mini tangent story. He said that he has done it in the past so I've been throwing really well against lefties lately because I have a pretty good changeup and it's been working well off lefties. And he likes this sidearm righty guy who throws against righties. So he said if there's ever a scenario where there's like a righty, lefty, righty, he might have this kid Dalton Ross throw to the righty. Then he might sub me in to throw to the lefty and sub Dalton into left field for one batter to trust that I'm not going to get a pop-up to left field, and then have Dalton come back in the game and then maybe sub a new left fielder in, which I never even thought about, which is kind of like crazy matchup talk right there. But how have you liked your coaches at Boston College?
Oh, they're awesome. I love it. So coming in my freshman year, we got a new pitching coach and hitting coach, and it's been awesome. I mean, coaches are very supportive of everything. They definitely know what they're talking about. It's been really great to have them.
Yeah. With pitching and all pitching coaches are different. Do you guys do a lot of Rapsodo technology based like pitch design, or is it a lot of execution, starting pitches, seeing how many strikes they're throwing, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the good part about our coach is it's a good mix of both. So like we have our pitch design bullpens. We have TrackMan, so that comes in handy a lot. Pretty much every bullpen we throw is on the TrackMan, which is really nice to see. And then a lot of times, like coming back from winter break, when we got right when we got back, as we're starting to build up for the season, we would do these competition bullpens.
I saw that somewhere on social media.
Yeah, it was on Twitter. My coach posted on Twitter, and it blew up a little bit. But it was awesome because it was like 15 pitches. You go head to head against somebody, and they had like a list of every pitch to throw. Like the first 4 would be like fastball, glove side, fastball, arm side, and then like it's just a big list of pitches that you throw, 15 pitches, and that really helped with, obviously the competition. It's so much fun, like competing against your guys. You got everyone circled around the mound, like watching, cheering everyone on, which is sick. So there's a good mix of that with those competition bullpens, and then like during the weeks you have your pitch design. So it's definitely a good balance of both. I think both are very important.
It's nice to get a little competitive stuff.
Sean, are you like a data guy, or do you just like want to go out there and like trust yourself and just try and get dudes out? It's like how do you approach the guys in the other team?
I mean, like when the game comes around, you can't really think about that stuff. But like outside of the game, I'm pretty into it. I just honestly enjoy it, like looking at all the numbers and seeing ways to improve them. So I definitely would consider myself as a data guy.
Gotcha.
hard not to nowadays, like with
Yeah,
all the data,
exactly.
especially if you've got a TrackMan. For the listeners out
Right.
there who don't know what a TrackMan is, it's the newest technology that a lot of MLB organizations are starting to use as well, or they might even have an even more advanced version of it. But it tells you the spin rate on pitches, how much vertical and horizontal movement your pitches are getting, where the pitch is ending up, where your arm angle is, like your wrist angle. I mean, as a pitcher too, Sean, we look at it and we have something similar. I forget exactly what the company is called, but it's not TrackMan, it's a different one. And it's when it's there, it's hard not to look at. Like we want to compare ourselves to the MLB data pitches right now. Like we want to see where we rank up, and that's the easiest way to do it when you can't be out there throwing next to an MLB arm.
Right.
So
Yeah, no
what
doubt.
was it like? What was it like as a freshman traveling or soon you'll be doing it again, but traveling to, all of these big name ACC schools that you were probably watching as a kid, on TV, and now you're living it in the bullpen, in the dugout, on the mound. How has that shaped, your career?
It's really cool. I mean, especially like last year, getting the first taste of it, going to all these schools, especially when we're in ACC play, just seeing different environments of all these places, like you're watching them on TV growing up and like you're in the stand. Like this past weekend, we were at Florida State, how they do like the chop thing. So just seeing stuff like that, it's pretty crazy. Just seeing like some of the fans, like how crazy into it they are. Like we were at Tennessee a couple of weeks ago, just seeing that kind of environment. It's nuts. Places erupt.
When we played at Tennessee, my mom got into some argument with one of the other moms or something, just because the other mom was hammered, and
they live and die by it.
Live and die by Tennessee baseball, and it's a moneymaker for Tennessee, and it gives them in a state maybe where there's not as much to do, go watch a baseball game, and it's like it's literally a minor league feel.
For sure.
What do you think your favorite stadium that you've played on so far? Sorry, Nietzsche.
No, you're good.
I would say my favorite, honestly, probably Tennessee was the coolest.
Yeah.
Last year Clemson was pretty sick. I'm trying to think where else.
I looked at some of the stats. So you threw last year at Clemson, Notre Dame, NC State, Virginia, Miami. So you were throwing at all these schools.
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh yeah, Miami was probably the coolest one. Miami was awesome. That was my first ACC start, and there was like 5,000 people there, which is insane because I've never played in front of that many people before. So like just something like that, and just hearing some of the fans, and they say some nasty things.
You got to make your Instagram account private, or else they'll know everything.
Yeah,
about
right.
You.
Seriously.
What were they saying to you? What were the kind of things that they were saying to you, or just things you heard in general?
Just things in general, really. Like they will not hold back. They'll scream at anybody. So it's pretty crazy.
I made the mistake of not making my account public or private, and they were digging deep, and they were going back to like my high school girlfriend's name. They were saying everything. It was pretty crazy.
Dude, I've never played at like bigger schools, so I've never played in like obviously like in playoff games. Like a lot of people will come, but I've never played in like in an atmosphere where they're like diehard fans there. So I've never really gotten like chirped before. But last year we were at Franklin Pierce, and they're like occasionally like a nationally ranked D2, like really good program. And these kids like right behind the dugout, like there were only seats like directly behind, or not behind the dugout, but the plate. And they were going at me. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit.
Especially if you're catching too.
Yeah, dude. And like it was like my birthday in like a day or two, and they were singing like happy birthday to me, dude. And I was so caught off guard because it was like a midweek, and and I was like, oh my God, these guys are and I got rattled, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I let it get to me a little because I've never really had that before. I was totally caught off guard.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And probably Sean, as you as a 18-year-old last year playing in front of 5,000 kids, like that is something that we're blessed to have that. You're blessed to have that opportunity,
no
but
doubt.
also like
kind of intimidating.
It's a little scary. Yeah, it's definitely a little intimidating. So
sorry, Paul. I just want to get this in. Some topics that we talk about here a little bit is how you try to like attempt to remove yourself from baseball when you're not in the field, and and kind of like the whole point of this podcast is kind of like learn more about you and all the guys, like more than just like being a baseball player. So like, and I know we talked about you kind of living on your own, stuff like that. Have you kind of like developed any new hobbies or things that you like to do? I mean, like I know I have, I've added so much more to myself than just being a player over the past couple of years. And it really does
Right.
help me out, with my performance on the field and just like, life in general.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I wouldn't say I have many like hobbies outside of baseball, which is kind of something that I want to get better with, and
It's
it's something
tough
like I'm
at an
trying to learn
ACC
this year.
program.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
no
level you
doubt.
play is hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, but definitely like trying to enjoy that freedom away from the game, takes up so much of our life. So it's important to do things outside of that and just kind of, try and almost like you said, just try and remove yourself from it sometimes because, there's definitely a lot of other things in life and it's important to enjoy those things as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are travel days like? So you guys are always heading on planes. So those are parts of
Yeah.
parts of your day. I love travel personally. We got to travel to the Dominican Republic for our spring training
Oh
trip,
yeah, I
which
saw
was
that. That's
amazing.
awesome.
And traveling with the team is something that I wish more people could experience because I
Yeah,
just
no
love,
doubt.
like, regardless of the time it is, getting into the locker room, everyone's packing their stuff, everyone's so excited for the weekend. You
Yeah.
get on the bus. Do you guys have any like games or anything you play on the bus or
Yeah, we play Mafia on the bus. I'm sure
that
you guys
That's
is
like
probably do the
a
same. I feel like
universal?
that's a universal. Yeah, exactly.
that's a college baseball like staple there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt.
it's funny. We had a 6-year kid. He was a transfer last year, but he stud pitcher, really turned into like one of our main leaders last year. The guy was just like a fucking dog in the mound, and he never played Mafia. And he's like a real like ball buster, but he's like sneaky about it. And he hops into a game. He's like, yo, like he's like, like how do you play this game? And I was like, dude, you're like 24. You're telling me and you're 6 years, you don't know. And the guys like explain to him the rules. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. He's playing all you. And I was like, he's this or he's the godfather, or whatever. Everyone was eating it up. And he, he killed me off. I was like a townie or whatever. And lo and behold, he was the godfather, dude.
That game creates trust issues within a team
Dude,
because
blow away.
you find out who the good liars are.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, you
yeah.
do. What do
So
you think
where, yeah.
what's like your level of play, Sean? Like 1 to 10, what would you rate yourself?
Dude, like a 3. I like just
Oh,
started
come
playing,
on.
bro. Bro, it took me like the whole year. Like last year I didn't play just because I didn't even know. I couldn't figure out the rules, dude. It took me forever. Like I'm definitely a beginner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
And what is it like traveling with class, like in season? You guys, I mean, ACC, SEC schedules, it's always interests me to know like what it's like with school with you guys because you're probably leaving on Wednesday or Thursday before a weekend series, right?
Yeah, we leave Thursday mornings at like we'll like get up. Our flights are usually early in the morning. So we're up, I don't know, usually anywhere 6 to 8 is usually when the bus leaves for the airport. And then we're on the plane. We're gone for the weekend until Sunday night. We'll get back at 2 in the morning. So we miss Thursday, Friday when we're traveling with class. And then even like midweek games sometimes. Like today we played at 3 and our bus left at 1 to Northeastern, it's like a 10-minute ride, which is nice. But we left at 1 and like I had a 12 o'clock today. We had 12 to 1:15, so I had to miss that. Like tough sometimes because you're away for so long. You miss 2 days of class and you're in a whole other
Yeah.
unit of something. So definitely
No,
tough.
it's
But
tough.
we have the resources, which is nice. We got a lot of help when we're back with tutors and all that, and like anything you can need. So it's pretty nice to do that, but it's definitely a tough balance.
Have you ever had any mandatory study hall hours? I had that freshman year.
Yeah. Our freshman year, everyone has to do it. It's 6 hours a week.
Same.
And
Yeah.
then this year I have to do it this year too. Like there's like a certain GPA you need to have to get out of it. And I unfortunately
Oh,
did not
oh
hit that
no,
GPA.
no.
Yeah.
That's why I started off with the St. Joe's question, bro. That's why I had to know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it
It's
is
all
what it
right.
is, but yeah, the hours aren't too bad though. Like it's pretty relaxed, so you get
And
your
they're
work
just trying
done
to
and
help you.
exactly. It's all for the best.
Yeah. So transitioning a little bit, you were drafted by the New York Yankees in the 20th round out of high school. being a Yankee fan, I would never be able to see my name pop up on the screen and tell them I'm going to college. It's an extremely mature decision, and you're going to get a degree out of it. You're going to, get the college experience. What were the factors that played into making that decision to go to college instead of going to play in the minor leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a diehard Yankees fan my whole life too, so like it was so awesome to see that happen, and like in the moment it was unreal and still one of the best moments of my life to this day. But the decision to come to college was definitely a tough one, but I kind of knew right away that it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get my degree. I wanted to live that college life and play for a championship in college. I feel like that's everyone that I ever meet, whether they're an athlete or not, like college is always the best time of their life, and that's definitely something I wanted to experience. So I think it was definitely a tough choice, and that was probably the hardest phone call I've had to make, is telling them I'm going to go to school. But
Can you run us through that phone call a little bit, like what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, it took like 2 weeks. It was like a 2 week period where I was deciding, and that phone call, you just kind of say it, and just, they understand too. Like at that part, like they understand as a high school kid, and
they're
late
getting a lot of
rounds, it's tough.
that,
Yeah, but it went well. Like they understood completely, and hopefully I'll get another opportunity next year, year after, to play pro ball. So it's kind of just trusting myself and trusting the process and hoping that'll all work out.
What was
always
like the
bet
whole
on yourself.
what was the whole process of the draft like? Did you, because I know you went pretty late, and I mean, you had a great senior year. Was it kind of like out there that you were going to go to college, so that's why they, like, some teams maybe hold it off from picking you? But like, what was that like whole process like leading up to the draft?
Yeah, I mean, it started the summer going into my senior year, like when I would do showcases and stuff. Those things always had tons of scouts, and the talks are usually small leading up to the season, high school season. Then had a really good high school season. Things kind of picked up a little bit, and like just with like going earlier in the draft, there's obviously other factors like financial things and all that to get you away from college. So those, you have meetings, people, like Zoom calls and all that, and they want to get to know you as a person, most importantly, because obviously they judge by the game, like they watch all your games and stuff. They know what they're getting as a player, but it's very important, like, for them to get to know you as a person as well. So that's like what a lot of it is, leading up to then. And then during the draft, like I was sitting there watching each round, just waiting, hoping my name got called earlier, but things just didn't work out for that, and I got called late. So that definitely changed a little bit, but it's still an awesome experience either way, just going through it all. I'm definitely lucky that I went through it. And now, especially now for the future, knowing what that process is like is also really helpful. So yeah, it was definitely a fun process, but definitely
So
a
do
tough
you get a
one.
call from the organization before the name pops up on the TV?
I think in higher rounds, I would say yes, but in my experience, like I got called. I mean, probably I saw it pop up on. I was at the gym actually. I was at RPP.
Wow.
And
yeah, I was gonna bring up RPP too, but tell the story.
Yeah, I was at RPP, and it was in the 20th round, and I just had like the track, like the tracker where like the MLB.com or whatever, just watching to see. I didn't think I was getting picked, so I was seeing, any of my buddies got picked or anything. And I saw my name pop up, and I was like, oh my God, like that's me. And then like literally 30 seconds later, they call me and just tell you like, congratulations, like, we're taking you here. And it's pretty short because they want you to, obviously enjoy that time with your family and celebrate it. So it was a pretty cool moment.
So you were at RPP. So for the listeners out there, RPP is Rockland Peak Performance. I actually trained there for a little bit. Really good training facility in the Northeast if any players are trying to elevate their game. Are you still an RPP guy? Do you still train there in the off season?
Yeah, I was there. I've been there since God knows when. I was like 12, probably, when I started going there. So I've been going there for a long time.
When you got drafted.
Yeah.
And what, like, so did you just look around and you're like, hey guys, I just got drafted? Like, who do you celebrate when you're there? Like when you're just looking at it on your phone?
Yeah, I think like I went up to one of the pitching coaches there, and I was like, dude, like look at this. You know, it's crazy. It's such a crazy moment. I think a lot of my friends went there. You know, Lysick was there. Probably, I think he was there at the time. He's always been an RPP guy with me as well. Hunter, Davers. So it's cool to spend that moment with them. But yeah, it was safe to say that I didn't finish my workout that day.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to.
Yeah, so I pretty much was there for a little bit after, just kind of talking to guys, and I went right home, see my family. So it was definitely a cool moment, and it was cool to be there during it. So yeah.
Segueing to a little bit of, so now we're talking about RPP and, you know, your workout regimen. How has workouts been at Boston College versus, you know, leading up to going to college? The weight room in a college atmosphere is something I have always loved. It has just motivated me to do way more things in the weight room that I ever thought I'd ever be able to do.
Yeah.
Kind of take the listeners through what it's like lifting in an ACC powerhouse gym.
Yeah, no doubt. So in high school, leading up to it, I always like worked out on my own. I always loved working out on my own. So I was kind of like nervous almost going into team lifts in the fall of my freshman year. I was like, oh my God, like I'm not the strongest guy. I'm pretty tall. I'm just a tall, lanky guy. So I'm not obviously not going to be putting up the same weight as a lot of guys, but going into that environment, just realizing that, you know, everyone's pushing each other to do the best, whether it's a guy squatting 350 or a guy squatting 200 pounds, like everyone just gets just as excited for you if you hit a PR or something, you know? So it's awesome. The environment. We have awesome strength coaches. Will Franco, he's our head strength coach. He's awesome. You know, the workouts are, you know, a lot of what you see on, whether you're scrolling through Twitter, like there's a lot of very baseball specific things that have kind of newer and kind of taken over the whole baseball world. So we include a lot of that, which is awesome. So it's just a great environment to be with all your teammates, all your best friends, and just like all lifting together. We lift 3 times a week. We go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:15 to 9 o'clock, which is it's honestly not bad. You know, I've heard a lot of stories of guys having much earlier lifts than us, so we're definitely lucky for that. So, but
still pretty early.
Definitely early, but just an awesome experience being in the weight room with all those guys, and it's definitely something I look forward to every week.
It's weight room experience. Nico, how's your? I just have loved team lifts. Have you had team lifts over at St. Rose?
Yeah, I mean, you know, at Becker, it was very like, you know, and anyone who's listening, Becker is a failed Division III school. But you know, it was like kids wouldn't show up. You know, guys would be like, "Oh, I have homework. I don't have this. I don't have that." And it was, you know, it wasn't really the best program. The coach did the best he could, but you know, it's nothing like the atmosphere that you guys have been around. You know, and I mean, like we don't really even have team lifts at St. Rose. It's all like, you know, like if you want to get better in the weight room, like you got to get it done on your own, which is good because it keeps guys accountable and it kind of brings out like, you know, who really wants it more. But I mean, I wish I could experience those like team lifts. And honestly, I wouldn't even mind doing like a 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. lift because it builds like team camaraderie.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just like it keeps guys like focused, like, you know, less guys will probably like go out and drink and like fuck around and stuff like that. So, you know, but again, like that's why like schools like Boston College and Paul, I mean, at Tampa, like that's why you guys are successful because of things like that and it keeps everyone in line.
To be completely honest with you guys, my weight room regimen at Iona was probably harder than it was here at Tampa.
Really?
I think that was because we tried putting more of an emphasis in the weight room because it's something we can control. You know, if we're not getting as good of talent, maybe we'll be able to breed more talent in the weight room. Hopefully it will transition to the field. Here at Tampa, fall, we really got after it. It was a grind. We had conditioning sessions. We had mandatory weight room sessions. Now in season, in the spring, we have mandatory 2 lifts per week, but it's pretty chill in the sense where like you can do it whenever you want. It doesn't have to be during the team hours, as long as you're performing on the field, which we're 20-4 right now and playing good baseball. So the coach, you know, might not be all over us about getting in the weight room, but as long as you're performing on the field, you'll see, you know, the coach give a little more leeway.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of similar to what with us right now in the spring, in season. Like you said, fall, we get after it, you know, everything everything's mandatory. But now we have optional lifts on Monday. We have a time slot. Guys come in because Mondays are off day. So, we have time guys come in and get their work in. And we have mandatory Wednesday morning. And then when we're on the road, it's tough to get team lifts in. So
Yeah.
we'll usually lift at wherever, like whatever school we're at, they'll usually let us get a quick team lift in, but it's very catered to like your schedules, like starters lift on certain days based off of when they're throwing, based off of bullpens and stuff. So it's definitely less, like it's a lot less in the spring. You could definitely still get in your work in, but it's less when it comes to like
mandatory.
like workload and that kind of stuff. So you can
Everyone's
obviously
on
if it's a
different
game day, we're
schedules.
not going crazy. So yeah. But yeah,
Bullpen
everyone's on a
guys,
different yeah.
bullpen guys don't know when they're throwing, so it's not like, if we had
Exactly.
mandatory lifts, you can really get after it. If there's a
Right.
midweek game, you don't know if you're going to be getting in. Starters obviously want to be on different schedules. The Friday
Right.
guy wants to be on a different schedule than the Sunday guy, so
Yeah,
it's a bunch of different schedules within one schedule, if that
yeah,
makes
for
sense.
sure.
So what you got any plans for summer ball this summer?
As of now, I have a temp in the Cape with Ed Harwich. That's where I was there for a couple weeks last summer.
Yeah,
So
how did
that
that
was
go? I was trying to find if you played any summer ball this past summer.
Yeah, I was there for like a week and a half, and then I got released. I threw an inning, but just like the experience of being there was sick to see. Like those games are awesome. They got a ton of people come out to watch. It's awesome being able to play with guys from different schools. You get a feel of what life at other schools are. You get to build your relationships, and a lot of times you end up playing these guys when the season rolls around. So it's pretty cool to see that and kind of just build those relationships while experiencing what summer ball life is like. And I was very lucky to be able to play in the Cape and hopefully play there again this summer. So it's a pretty cool experience. I hear a lot of mixed things about summer ball.
I loved summer ball. I played in the Coastal Carolinas and I played for the Wilson Tob. And my host family was incredible. Everyone's host family situation is different. My family took me in like I was their own son. I was their only other kid they had. But like they had a 12-year-old or 11-year-old who was very into baseball, so that was great. But they would make me dinners, do my laundry, go grocery shopping for me, and not everyone gets that, and I was so blessed to have
Yeah,
that.
no doubt. Yeah, same with me. And I was only there for a week and a half, but my host family was awesome. They had two younger kids, one of them a boy and a girl, and he loved it. Like he was at all of our games with all his buddies, and it was just awesome to see that. And it's awesome to be there and kind of be a friend to them, just like see the way that see how happy they get seeing you. Definitely. And all the guys. I had an awesome roommate, so it was just overall a great experience.
No, I wish I was able to travel like that and play summer ball. I never did that. I always stayed kind of local around Jersey, playing summer ball. I mean, because all the stories I hear about NECBL, Cape Cod League, and Paul, I've heard about your league as well. I think it's towards like the end of summer ball when guys are like on like their last legs and they're I need to get out of here, whatever,
right.
Like those the dog days of summer, everyone's kind of like struggling through. But Sean,
you play a 40-game season, yeah,
right, yeah, no,
and then you go right to summer ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, a couple of my buddies, they played in the Futures League, which it's a New England league, and they play like 70 games in the summer, and by the time you're at 50, it's just like, oh my god, I need to finish up with this, get home for a couple of weeks, since you're gone all the time.
Yeah. What would you say, Sean, is the top experience for you so far in your baseball career? Because I mean, in high school, you guys won the Triple Crown, which is absolutely insane. That team you had your senior year was loaded. But between that and now playing at Boston College, you have some experience in the Cape now. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, obviously high school, my senior year was awesome. Winning Triple Crown, having the year we had was so amazing. That was probably, it's definitely way up there. And I think honestly, I'd say now, even though I've struggled throughout pretty much my whole college career so far, which is all part of it, trust the process, trust the plan, but I'd say just getting to do all these things. Like I'm so lucky to be able to travel to all these cool places, see these cool schools, and have access to the facilities that we have. It's beautiful up here. We're so
Yeah.
lucky, and I think that's just so blessed to have that. And I think that's probably my top moment, honestly.
Nice.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, nice. So something I kind of want to start asking as like a last question. Really appreciate you taking some time here today, Sean. I know you got a busy
Yeah, of
schedule.
course.
But Sean is an athlete with us over here at Elevate. We do some work for you here and there. What do you like about being a part of Elevate? Is there anything like you can tell the listeners about what we, do behind the scenes, or anything that, you've liked that we've done or set up or have going for us right now?
Yeah, I mean, I know Nico and I we've spoke about working together for a while now, and now that like things kind of settled down with the whole NIL thing, and just getting a feel for what works. It's been awesome to be part of it. With behind the scenes setting up those kind of opportunities, like you said, like we have that group me where you send all the different discount codes and stuff you can get for these places is awesome. Being able to like the post on social media, like that kind of stuff. It's definitely awesome to kind of get your name out there and see the cool opportunities that are possible. And obviously being able to build a relationship with you guys is a blessing itself. So it's definitely
That's what we want to
awesome
do here,
to be
build
part of it.
relationships. Yeah, with
Yeah,
our
no
athletes.
doubt.
We really appreciate hearing that. It's just
No
something,
doubt.
me and Nico love doing, is talking with college athletes and
Yeah, for
figuring out,
sure.
everyone has their own individual story that we just love hearing about and want to help spread
Right.
it.
Yeah, and that makes it so much easier to do when everyone's so super into it and everyone's all for it. It makes it easier on everyone's side and just makes it a really enjoyable experience.
Yeah. So the last segment we've been doing with all of our interviewees is called "You Scratch My Back, I Scratch Yours." So I usually have a lottery ticket. We scratch it off together, and if we ever win anything, we'll split the profits, and we'll hopefully be able to put some money towards Elevate, and maybe you can go take your team out for a dinner, a nice dinner or something.
Yeah.
Mark had the scratch off for today, and he couldn't be on, so he scratched it off and sent me a picture of it. This is what your scratch off ticket is. It? I don't know if it's gonna.
Is it a winner or a loser?
Let me give it a quick look. Your winning numbers are 9, 0, 1, 40, and 31. And you do not have a winner here, Sean. I'm sorry, but we cannot provide you in Boston College some dinner.
I feel like that's usually how the lottery goes.
We're 0 for more, Nico. We did them with the Tampa boys too, so we're 0 for like 6 or 7 now.
Oh yeah, I forgot. But wait, did you do 3 of them? Did you do 3 of them for that one? Or?
They each got their own, and we're all losers right now. Maybe a $2 winner, so we get to split $1 between us. But Sean, once again, thanks for coming on. We're gonna release this next Monday, and we're gonna get out reels throughout the week. So if people don't have time to listen to the full interview, they can at least get to hear some questions and some cool stories that you have to share with us tonight. So really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have you on again soon, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks, Sean.
Appreciate it. You guys too.